That's a cheetah in the background over my shoulder, and he's pretty close. So we're going to set up here. I've got the monopod out to help out now, although we are outside, so it's not too bad. Indoors, the monopod's been very helpful. We're going to see how close we can get up and frame this, get some good shots of the cheetah. Here we're into the cheetahs, 320 millimeters. I love these cats, lean and powerful. They're always attentive. 2,000 millimeters. Look at the detail on there. Really nice shot of the head there. 320 millimeters again. 1,800 millimeters. Another nice shot at the close-up of his head. 350 millimeters. Here's a 24 millimeters full wide, showing you where I'm standing here up against the railing, and you can see the enclosure. So what those other shots you're seeing, I'm zoomed right into this enclosure. And if you look almost center of the frame there, there is actually a cat, a cheetah, sitting in that arc window there of that big area. Let me see if you can see this on the right in here of the frame there. And watch, we'll go to the next one, and this is at 260, and there you can see him sitting there. And then we go to 650. Another at 650 there. Now we're at 2,000. That's him. And not bad. Not bad. You can even see a little bit of spit on his lip there. Back to 950. 2,000 millimeters headshot here. Another at 2,000 millimeters. Nice tight shot at 2,000 millimeters. Look at the detail in that face. 2,000 millimeters. Here I'm in a little different perspective shot, shooting from a different spot. This is 380 millimeters. 950 millimeters. And here's 2,000 millimeters. I like that shot. I even like the crop. I like how the way it is there. You can see how tight, especially on the nose there, how sharp that is. Backed off to 300 here. You can see him licking his lips. 550. I don't know if he's squinting in the sun or just closing his eyes and basking in the sun. It's the zebra enclosure here behind me. Lots of fences and some pavilions and stuff in the background. So not really good for shooting to get, trying to get a natural shot. But hey, let's get the cameras out and see what we can do here. There's two of them there, two zebras behind me, and we'll see if we can find a spot where it's not so zoo-ish looking. We're at the zebra enclosure. That's 240 millimeters. 350 millimeters. 350 again. Zoomed in, 700 millimeters on the head there. Pretty decent, pretty sharp. Look at the hair on the mane, pretty sharp. 400 millimeters. Not a great area to get a shot that you don't see the fencing and whatnot. I always like to try to get a perspective where, you're almost fooling yourself that you're not at the zoo. You don't see the distraction of the wires and the fence. There's a few more shots of the cheetah. I guess we were walking back the other way. This is 300 millimeters. 850 millimeters. I really like this shot. The background blurs right out here. That's even at 5.6, but that looks decent. I love that shot too. 2,000 millimeters. You need a 2,000 mil lens to get that shot because you don't want to be this close to that guy. 1,600 millimeters. Again, performing very nicely, this lens. 1,600 millimeters. 240 millimeters. I like this vantage point in this composition in front of the rocks here. This is really good. I think it was actually my friend Mike that saw him sitting here and says, "Oh, we gotta get these shots," and he was right. 650 millimeters. 650 millimeters again. Oh, this is decent. 1,200 millimeter shot. Look at that. I think a lot of times, if you're seeing photos I've got here, it's probably a lot of operator error in the sense of either I've let the camera shoot in program mode and the shutter speed might be too low, or I'm just not holding the camera steady enough with this super long lens, even despite the monopod. 260 millimeters. Because this camera is capable of very sharp images. Some of these are like tack sharp. So, it's a very capable camera with a 2,000 millimeter lens. It's the cheapest you will buy a 2,000 millimeter lens. I mean, where else can you even get a 2,000 millimeter lens? 450 mils. This is the Canada Lynx exhibit or enclosure behind me. I don't know if you can see up over my shoulder, but he's up there resting on a little platform. He's up there on a little platform, and he's having a nap. But we're going to zoom in, see what we can do. Again, we're shooting through a fence, but it does seem that it's getting through pretty good. More on the 200 to 500 seems to be isolating through the fence and focusing, and just you're not seeing the fence. The P900, less so. Here we've got the Lynx. These are neat cats. This is at 350 mils. 850 millimeters, zooming in on the head there. Pretty good detail in the fur there. 600 millimeters. Another close up there, 1200 millimeters, right in on the ears and the eyes. Here the eyes are open. He's woke up. I don't know if we were yelling at him. I can't remember. 850 millimeters, pretty decent. 700 millimeters. We're at the wood bison exhibit, and that's them through the fence right there. We'll see what we can do. The fence holes in here are pretty wide, so hopefully we can just stick the camera lens through and we don't have to worry about the fence getting in the way. But we'll take some shots, see what we can get. Here we are at 24 millimeters. This is the bison. There's a couple of them there. 75 millimeters, another pair of them, munching away on some hay. 150 millimeters. 220 millimeters. Not bad, pretty decent. That was at a 400th of a second. Pretty decent shot there. That's zoomed in. 450. Look at the eye, pretty sharp, and the nose. 850 again. The eye's pretty sharp. That's not bad. That's at a 50th of a second too. So the VR, the combination of the VR plus my monopod's working pretty good here. Here we're back to 170. It's a pretty decent, pretty sharp shot. It's not that far out on the zoom though, so it should be. Here we're at 650. Not bad. Pretty sharp here on the eye. Look at that eye. Even the horn and the nose there, 550 millimeters. Here we're at 500 millimeters. Another one at 500 millimeters. We're at the penguin exhibit. You can hear the water in the background, and I think you can probably see that right at the door there, the penguins are waiting. I think it must be getting close to food time. So we're gonna get the 200 to 500 out, and we're gonna get the P900 out. We're gonna shoot both of them, see what we can get. This is 320 millimeters. 850 millimeters, pretty sharp there. Look at the beak and the eyes. 1800 millimeters, again, very sharp. Look at the beak and the eyes. Now you can see the exposure here is at 1/800th of a second, so that's why that's really helping with the sharpness at such an extreme lens length. This is at 550 millimeters. This looks good. Another at 550. Affectionate penguins. That's at 1500 millimeters at 1/500th of a second. It's pretty sharp, pretty sharp. 1500 millimeters again. 1500 millimeters again. And this one's at 1800 millimeters. Not too bad, not as sharp, but not bad. This looks sharper, and this is at 1800 millimeters. That's only a 1/320th of a second. So again, probably me holding the camera. Maybe I wasn't breathing. Or maybe I was practicing proper form and rocking my finger across the shutter. Here we have 2000 millimeters, and that's not bad for sharpness at all. Exposure could come up a little bit in post, but that's a good shot. And again, looks good. 2000 millimeters, sharp on the face there. Decent on the face there again. That's another at 2000 millimeters. That's a 1/1000th of a second, so that's helping as well. This one's at 800 millimeters. It looks good. 2000 millimeters, and not bad for a 1/640th of a second. This one's at 700 millimeters. Decent detail. Another at, this one's at 950. And this one's at 400 millimeters. I got the polar bears behind me now. We're at the polar bear enclosure here at the Toronto Zoo. And luckily, both of them are out and about, and I got the one was going for a stroll down the hill and over by the far trees back there. He's playing with a big chunk of driftwood or branch or something. He seems to be having fun, and we're gonna zoom in and see what we can get. Here we're over at the polar bears. This is 300 millimeters, 1600th of a second, so no problem there. 380 millimeters, he's rolling around like a dog. I like that shot. 380 millimeters, decent detail, sharpness. A little bit soft, but that'll clean up in post. 700 millimeters. So that's probably, I'm pretty sure that's me, because we're at 1/1600th of a second. I'm not sure why that's not sharper. Maybe the focus, actually when I look at it, I think the focus was nailed on the grass in the foreground. That could have been the problem there. This one looks decent. 600 millimeters. 350 millimeters. Another at 350, some polar bear backsides. Note the out of focus
Birds is flying in the right side of the frame there. 380 millimeters, not bad. 650 millimeters. Not too bad. Could be a little sharper. 1500 millimeters. I don't know if that's a focus point thing or what are we, 1/800th of a second. Could just be me. 1500 millimeters, that looks a little sharper, and a good shot of him licking his fur there.
We're in the Great Barrier Reef display right now, which is obviously all behind glass because it's all aquariums, but there's some pretty neat stuff in here. You can see the jellies right there behind me, the jellyfish, and we're going to take some shots through the glass and see what we can get. Sometimes you're surprised at what you can actually get through glass.
Here we're inside shooting through glass, and these actually look pretty good in these saltwater tanks. 95 millimeters here. 85 millimeters. Very pleased with the look of these. They look pretty decent for shooting through a glass aquarium. 320 millimeters. 320 millimeters again. 135 millimeters. Now a lot of these seahorse shots, I had quite a few. Most of them were unusable because the seahorses were moving. So we're at 1/20th of a second here at 135 millimeters. So the VR is working very well. Not a bad shot of the seahorses. There's another one, the two of them sitting side by side there. They look pregnant. And here we've got some jellyfish. These look kind of cool. I took a few shots of these. 135 millimeters. 170 millimeters. 170 millimeters again. Pretty neat. They've done a good job here having the black background in this tank. It looks very... You can sit and watch these guys for a while. They're almost mesmerizing. Another at 170 millimeters. And that is all the shots there. Overall, very good performance out of the P900. I would say most of the time, if you're not seeing good performance, it's user error. Not take responsibility for that. Maybe I'm not paying enough attention to my shooting form, or I've let the camera select too low a shutter speed. I mean, this one's at 1/88th of a second, and it still looks pretty good. You can see some motion, but the little fibro hairs here on the edge is pretty sharp. So very happy with the camera. It is a joy to shoot with the 2000 millimeters. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And so versatile to be able to go to 24 millimeters. I'm really liking the Nikon P900 UltraZoom.
Okay, so that pretty much concludes our day of shooting here at the Toronto Zoo. It's been great. The overcast weather has really helped us out for lighting, and I have to say that it's been a great day for getting lots of good shots. The P900 functioned fantastic. I love this 2000 millimeter ultra zoom. It's acquiring focus fast. It looks tack sharp from what I can see on the LCD. Looking forward to getting those in on the computer. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Stay tuned. Look for those photos on Instagram at The Art of the Image, and we'll be back soon here at theartoftheimage.com.